Thank you very much for the introduction, and good afternoon, everyone. So I'm very great. It's my great pleasure to be here this afternoon to share you guys with some of the research I've been doing on in the biogeochemistry in soil and water systems. So to start, I want to briefly introduce myself. My name is Jing Hu. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Civil Environment and Construction Engineering. So I got my Ph.D. In Soil and Water Sciences Department from University of Florida in 2014. And I continued in the same department for another about 3.5 years as a postdoc associate. And I joined the Geosystem Research Institute at Mississippi State University as an assistant research professor in 2021. And I start my role at UCF spring this year. At UCF, I teach undergraduate core course, the Introduction to Environment Engineering, and I'm leading the Nature-Based Solution Lab. I'm supervising 2 Ph.D. students and 1 undergraduate research assistant. Our group research focal area include the greenhouse gas emission in both the nature and managed system, and carbon sequestration and stability in soil systems, transport and fate of pollutants, including nitrogen, phosphorus, and the emerging organic contaminants, and also the application of the drone and a robot system for precision monitoring in environment systems. My research is centered on the biogeochemistry. You may ask, what is biogeochemistry? It is a relatively new and interdisciplinary research area which studies the physical, chemical, and biological processes mediated by both biotic and abiotic components. These processes drive the cycling of key elements such as the carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfate, and also the toxic components. So the human activity actually order the human activity actually substantially alter the natural and biogeochemical cycles. This disruption lead to the negative impacts to our environments, including the reduced soil health and fertility, and the degraded water quality, and also the declining ecosystem health and biodiversity, and also increased greenhouse gas emission that further drives the climate change. My group studied the biological cycling of carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and also the emergent organic contaminants. And by leveraging the biogeochemistry insights, we work to develop the natural-based solution to improve the water quality as well as mitigate the greenhouse gas emission. So our work spans in different ecosystems. So our past and current projects, including assess the effects of the hydrology and land use on greenhouse gas emission, the soil amendments to increase the carbon stability, and also phosphorus remove in the treatment wetland. We also studied how the agriculture practice affect the soil health and greenhouse gas emission. So in today's talk, I want to focus on some study I've done in the Everglades system. So living in Florida, I think Everglades is not an unfamiliar name for most of you. So Everglades is a subtropic wetland ecosystem that spanning 2 million acres across the southern and central Florida. Historically, the Everglades is ecosystem that a vast network of diverse habitats connected by wetland and water body. Since 1800s, a large portion of the system has been drained for the agriculture and urban development. So one of this gen area is the Everglades agriculture area. Right now, is currently mainly used for sugarcane grills. So the huge amount of carbon accumulated in the system right now is very vulnerable because this drainage introduced the oxygen into the soil and increased the soil oxidation, leading to the soil subsidence. And the majority of the carbon is returned to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide, which is the major greenhouse gas that drive the climate change. So reflooding could be an option to address the issue of soil subsidence and emission. However, it's not feasible because of the social and economic constraints. An alternate approach is the intermittent flooding and drainage combined by the crop's tolerance to the periodic floodings. However, this could induce the increased methane and nitrous oxide emission, which are two potent greenhouse gas emissions that have global warming potential almost 30 times and over 250 times higher than carbon dioxide. So we want to compare the total greenhouse gas emission, including carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide from this cultivated high organic soil under different water management treatment. So we collect the soil cores from the northern Everglades agriculture area, and this soil cores was subjected to 6 different hydrologic treatments in the lab. The treatment including the continuously drainage, continuous flooding, and for cyclic draining and flooding treatment. We monitor the greenhouse gas emission from the soil cores for 24 weeks. So here are the figures showing the different greenhouse gas emission. As we can see here, that the carbon dioxide was significantly higher on the drained condition than the flooded condition, while this pattern was not observed for nitrous oxide and methane. We did see the emission process after the flooding events for nitrous oxide and methane, but because this pause is very short, so they don't contribute significant to the cumulative emission. To make the comparison easier, we convert all the nitrous oxide and methane into carbon dioxide equivalent. So this figure here showing the total greenhouse gas emission from different hydrologic treatment. We can see that irrespective of the hydrologic treatment, carbon dioxide is the major contributor, while the nitrous oxide and methane only accounts for around 2 to 6% and less than 2% respectively. If we plot the total greenhouse gas emission along with the hydro period, we find a significant negative correlation. So the result from this study showed us that the application of the cyclic draining and flooding treatment can significantly decrease the carbon dioxide without raising the concern of increased nitrous oxide and methane. And the total greenhouse gas emission is highly dependent on the hydro period. That's the days of the soil under flooded condition, while the cyclic frequency of drainage and flooding is minor. So the drainage not only returns the carbon back to the atmosphere, it also impacts the Everglades by providing the excessive phosphorus loading. So obvious phosphorus gradient is observed from the highly impacted area to the remaining natural system. So in order to protect our remaining natural system, a network of the treatment wetland has been constructed between the Everglades agriculture area and water conservation area. So they are known as the stormwater treatment area. So I will just call them as STA hereafter. So if you are not very familiar with treatment wetlands, those are man-made engineered systems that mimic the process of nature wetlands to improve the water quality. So they use the combination of soil, vegetation, and associated microorganisms to remove the nutrient from the water. So phosphorus entered into this treatment wetland, is retained in the wetland by the physical, chemical, and biological processes. So vegetation is one of the major components of the treatment wetland, which played an essential role in phosphorus removal. So currently in STAs, there are two dominant vegetation types. One is the emergent aquatic vegetation, and the other is submerged aquatic vegetation. We want to see how this different type of vegetation affect the phosphorus performance of the STAs. So in order to answer this question, we collaborated with the scientists and staff from the South Florida Water Management. So we monitored the water quality, the surface water quality in two parallel flowway within one of the STAs. So one flowway is dominated by the emergent vegetation, and the other is dominated by the submerged vegetation. So we monitored the water quality for 2 years in both fall and the spring season. So during our study, the Hurricane Irma struck. So that provides us a unique opportunity to also see how the extreme weather event affects the treatment performance. So we monitor the total phosphorus and phosphorus fractions, as well as the other elements such as the nitrogen and also matters. So our results showed that the flowway with emergent vegetation showed evident seasonal pattern with better performance in spring than the fall. This is because the biologic process, which is seasonal sensitive, the major process contribute to the phosphorus removal. On the contrary, in the submergent flowway, the abiotic process contributes significantly in phosphorus retention in this wetland, which reduce the seasonal variation. However, the submergent vegetation is very susceptible to the storm-related effects. So we've observed a substantial vegetation loss during the hurricane. Meanwhile, the emergent vegetation is very resilient to the event. So the results suggest that mixing marsh system incorporating both emergent and submergent vegetation could be a management practice to maintain the stable and high capacity of the treatment wetland in returning the phosphorus. So to ensure the sustainability, we also want to know how stable the phosphorus returned in the wetland, and whether the stability is affected by the different vegetation types. So we collect the soil cores along each flowway, and we section the soil cores into different layers. And all the soil samples was analyzed by the sequential extraction, and the phosphorus was categorized to 3 pools. That's high reactive phosphorus, and non-reactive phosphorus. So we calculate the stock of each phosphorus pool, and we notice that percentage of each fraction is quite similar. However, in the emergent flowway, the phosphorus is more in the organic form, while in the submergent vegetation flowway, the phosphorus is more in the inorganic form. So if we revisit the photo of the soil cores, we can see the difference. Visually. With the new soil layers in the submergent vegetation flowway has the grayish color. So this is because that the Everglades is a calcareous system with high calcium concentration in the surface water. And the photosynthesis of the submergent vegetation actually promotes the formation of the calcium carbonate, and which further facilitate the occlusion process of phosphorus, organic matter, and different metals. So in the interest of time, I'm only able to show some snapshot of my research. So if you are interested in some of our other work, please visit our lab website and also my personal Google Scholar page. So for my future work plan, in next 1 to 3 years, I want to focus on my current projects on the carbon sequestration and stability in soil, and also the soil health in the agriculture system, and the stormwater best management practice design, and also the greenhouse gas monitor by the drone system. And in the long term, I want to continue work on the biogeochemistry in Florida system and urban stormwater treatment. I also want to expand my research to the land applicable carbon dioxide removal techniques and novel techniques to reduce the greenhouse gas emission, especially nitrous oxide and methane in the domestic waste treatment system. So collaboration is always welcome. And I'm really interested to collaborate with colleagues who working on the drones and robotics, and also the sensor techniques to monitor the environment system, and also the colleagues who work on the organic contaminants such as the PFAS and the microplastics. So with that last but not the least, I want to thank all my group members and my collaborators and also the funding agency. And thank you all for your time and attention. And I would like to take any question if I still have some time left.